right, I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor and you're watching Coffee and Crypto, your one-stop destination for all things crypto. Now, a lot has happened this week. We will get to the regulation bit, which all of you are excited about in just a bit. But let's introduce you the idea that we're talking about this week. Now, guess how many apps, take a wild guess, how many apps do you have on your phone? Well, I got down to counting it and I got tired. And every app has a different username or different password. Now imagine a world where you just need one key, just one key to access all of them. Sounds exciting, right? I'll tell you all about that in our explainer, which is all about that you need to know on Web3. Let's go. So, let me introduce you to the most exciting spheres of crypto world that I have come across. And drum rolls for Web3. That's right, the next generation of the internet is likely to run the backbone, likely to run on that. The backbone of crypto, which is blockchain technology. Now, when the concept of the World Wide Web first came about, Web 1, it was basically a collection of static pages and information, right? Where you could have shared that on the web and content was largely text, meant mostly for consumption. Now we are way beyond that, of course. We are surrounded in Web 2, well, much more interactive space this time around, where you can like, post, comment each other's pictures, you can shop online, create content online, interact with other creators online as well. But a large part of this information and data on the internet today is basically controlled by a few big centralized sort of corporations. And it can be harvested from them, which is how we see targeted ads, for example, and how it's easier for accounts to get hacked and for personal data to be stolen as well. In fact, in my mind, there is the biggest issue at the moment, or a threat in a way, if one can call it that, to Web 2. It is just two words: data privacy. And there might be a solution inside with the next internet revolution in the works, which aims to put more control over web content, but in the hands of users themselves. That's right. So in Web3, the focus will be on smart accessibility of information. Centralized search engines as well will be replaced with information on several computing devices, and you will be able to have more personalized browsing experience powered by semantics, artificial intelligence, blockchains like Ethereum, smart contracts, decentralized applications, all of them accessible. This, in result, will lead to resources, applications, content, games, online stores, all being more accessible to users. But I haven't told you the most exciting part of Web3 just yet. And to understand that, let's try an analogy over here. You know how one ring to rule them all happens in Lord of the Rings? Well, in Web3, it will be just one key to access them all. One private key for all applications. So you won't need several user IDs and different platforms like Facebook, Gmail, Zara, online shopping, online banking, anything. It'll just be one. Sounds like a pretty cool concept, right? With the virtual avatars and 3D experiences replacing how we actually use internet right now. However, does it necessarily mean a total disruption of internet as we know it today? Not quite sure about that. I think that the current big shots in Web 2, Web 2.0 as many call it, may just evolve and move forth with the new revolution. For example, look at Facebook's Meta. Essentially, what crypto could mean for currency, what DeFi could mean for banking, Web3 could mean for the internet. This, of course, is the basic foundation of Web3. Remember how we spoke about Metaverse earlier? Well, the Metaverse is a subset, basically, of this very revolution. And while we don't quite know how it really is going to work yet, venture sort of VCs, etc., and firms that are coming into it, it seems, are sort of betting big on this. And one of these firms is India, and they have committed to invest in over 25 startups in the blockchain and Web3 space. And let's find out why they are doing so. Joining me is now Nitin Sharma, General Partner and Co-Founder for Antler India. Hi Nitin, and welcome to CC. We've just been trying to decode what exactly Web3 is all about. But take us through what makes it such an exciting property for all the VCs in the country. In fact, not just in the country, but across the globe as well. And what is making it such an exciting offer that we see everybody jumping in? For example, just for the benefit of our viewers, Antler has committed to invest in some 25-30 startups already, right? In the next 2 to 3 years, and it plans to deploy some $100 million on this, $150 million over several other startups as well. So why so much excitement over something which is not yet there, not yet spoken about, not very sure of what the future will even be like? Take us through your thoughts.
Thanks, Sonal. It's great to be here. You know, as VCs, our job is to think long and think big. So when you look at the landscape of all the various things going on in the world, you know, the part that excites me the most is there is a new internet getting created, right? And that's what you just walk your users through. And this is not just a sector or a theme, right? We are talking about a completely new internet. So trillions of dollars of value will be created in this space and with these themes in the years to come. And it may take 5 years, it may take 10 years, right? But as VCs, our job is to actually bet on that future. So as Antler, we actually have already invested in 15 ventures globally. I myself have done about 15 or 16 investments earlier. So we've got the experience of 30 investments, and our actual goal is to bring in the next 18 months, 100 new startups and founders into the world of Web3 at a global level. And we think that India will play a huge role in this. And 25 to 30% of this will likely be from India, which is why we went public.
Tell me, what are these ideas really that you're working upon, and usability end of it? How will people like you and I end up using Web3? Yeah,
so it's a great question, because I think a very fair question. And I have these chats with government or with other folks, and everybody asks, the only use of crypto right now is to buy another crypto, right? Crypto, we understand the asset side very well, and that's getting quite developed. But the second way to look at crypto and blockchains is the application side. And that's what people have been waiting for. And if you look at some of the interesting things that have already started to happen, usability is really the big frontier here. The minute that these experiences become far more usable for the average user, right? So for the next 1 billion users to start with, you will see a complete new explosion of activity. So what does this mean? So let's start with, if you go back a few years, the idea of Web3 had already been around. The idea was that, Web 1 was read-only, content only.
Yeah,
Web
we spoke about that, yeah.
So here, what we are trying to do is Internet of Value, right? Which means that everything could be actually a financial asset. And what this means now is, if you look at some of the first projects that came out. So one of my favorite projects is Brave browser, which actually is a browser where you have completely different level of privacy control. And they actually attached a token to it called the basic attention token. Brave is one of the fastest growing browsers today. About 45 million people use it monthly. So you're seeing that many more users are actually trying a new product where there is a much higher level of ad blocking and privacy protection.
I see that.
So
but
then you have
help us. I'm sorry to interrupt, because I want to understand this in a little bit more detail, right?
Sure.
So in Web3, how does it work? Will it be one key per blockchain, or will there be one key for all? Will blockchains know actually how to chat with each other and sort of exchange information? How will it work?
So ideally, yes. I think eventually the vision is that there will be one identity that you will be able to use across chains, right? So imagine sometime in the future, a lot of your listeners have today some crypto assets, but they'll also have fiat assets. And more importantly, tomorrow, when you were talking about in the beginning of your segment, how many apps do you have? Tomorrow, they will have dApps, not just apps, distributed apps, dApps. So we can imagine a world where there is one wallet, right? And you are able to access all of your assets across fiat and crypto and all of the dApps that you want to engage with one identity seamlessly. And they may be across various different blockchains. So there is this whole interoperability of blockchains that is also getting solved. Right now, this is a few years away, right? But that's what makes it exciting. And I think that creates a lot of opportunity for technical talent in places like India
I see.
to actually be at the forefront.
That's quite exciting, from apps to dApps, from several usernames and passwords to just one key, and how the entire interaction will take place. Thanks, Nitin, for your inputs. We'll come back to you and see how the update on that is going. But, you know, another key interesting bit about Web3 is the fact that a lot of investment is happening there despite being unclear about which way the regulation is going, right? And talking about that, let me bring in our next guest. Joining us now is Menika Guruswamy. She's a senior advocate in the Supreme Court. You all know her for her trailblazing work through E77, but now she is here joining us as a tech guru at the moment and has been writing lots of stuff about how blockchain, etc., is developing. A quick update before we go to her on the regulation front is that, remember, we told you that the cabinet note was ready and that it is going to be brought in this session of Parliament as well. But now we are hearing that there has been another rethink by the government. Government is saying they're not in a rush and they are not going to be tabling the cabinet note in this session of Parliament. In fact, what I'm hearing is that it might not happen in the next session as well. At least till the polls happen here in the country, we're not going to see a crypto bill. The government, meanwhile, saying that they want more time to think and they want to expand their area of negotiation as well. For example, they want to now talk to countries and try and see more for a feasible resolutions on how exactly other countries are coming together on the issue of crypto. How is, say, Singapore regulating? How is Switzerland? How is US? How is UK? How are the forums and regulations around crypto coming in from across the world? And once that is studied by the government, that's when they want to bring in a regulation. All right, having understood that, let me go to Menika now. Menika, lots of sort of think and lot of sort of flip and flop also on which way the regulation will really go. But people like you who've been watching out the tech space, watching out the blockchain space as well, have faith that the government will go ahead with regulation itself. A ban is clearly not in the picture. But as we look at international community and how the government wants to take inputs from them on our own regulation, which is still in the works as of the moment, what do you think are the key takeaways that the government must keep in mind?
Hi, Sonal, thanks for having me on the show. So I think the key takeaway is, you know, if you were to look at sort of seemingly best practices right now from around the world, Singapore, Switzerland, the key seems to be, yes, you must regulate. Two, you must have good accountability mechanisms. By that I mean, when you regulate, have strict know your customer documents, have a place where crypto exchanges can register. So, you know, in Switzerland, the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, which kind of oversees the Swiss banking system as well, also regulates the crypto infrastructure. So it also regulates crypto exchanges. You have to comply with, you know, anti-money laundering statutes. You have to comply with a variety of, you know, more conventional criminal legislation as it pertains to trafficking, anti-terror legislation. So really, it is about taking your existing legal frameworks and trying to make them, you know, tweaking them and trying to get them to speak to the world that is the world of crypto assets and cryptocurrencies. Right. So it is about that, and that, you know, it takes some element of reflection. It takes some element of knowing this emerging world, this emerging market space. And it's also a marrying of tech and law. And that is always challenging because tech changes quickly. And the law is usually a little slower to keep up. So that is the challenge today.
Marrying tech and law, that actually defines you and why we have you on the show today. So give me like quick 2-3 predictions that you're expecting in the world of sort of tech and law and blockchain and law and crypto and law in the coming few months. Say.
So I think you'll definitely get regulations, you know, KYC, anti-money laundering regulations. You'll get regulations which will speak to the worries that we have for crypto currencies? Will it be used for terror acts because of the anonymity it provides? So you will certainly have legislation that will be tweaked to, in fact, meet these challenges. That's the first thing. I think the second thing, as we've seen in all kinds of grounds and spaces, whether it's courtrooms or boardrooms where tech meets law, you will have, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You wade in.
It's an ever-evolving process, yeah.
Ever evolving. And, this is a story. This is actually the story of the law, right? Technology has always moved much faster than legislation has. This is going to be no different. But eventually the law does catch up. And that will also happen. I read somewhere that we have 10 crore, crypto folk in India, folks who engage, crypto assets, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoins, they wade into that world. America has 2.9 crore, So this is the world's biggest market, if you will. Maybe not the most valuable, but certainly numbers the world's biggest market.
Yes.
So we would obviously look to our government to make legislation, to have regulations, because we don't want to be involved in the illegal way.
So what you're saying here is that there are no easy answers here. So expect more of this think and rethink to keep happening when it comes to the bill. And we got to stay patient with this. As long as the intent of the government is clear on which way this is going, we should be okay. All right. Thank you so much, Menika, for joining us on CC. On that note, I'm going to slip into a break. Coming up on the other side, there is a new NFT drop, and we'll tell you all about that with our guests on the other side. Stay tuned for that. So what comes to mind when I say Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, beg your pardon before all of you kill me, Thor, Avengers, superheroes, all of that, right? Well, all of these are really popular superheroes, and the man behind it as well, Stan Lee, no less, widely regarded as one of the greatest creators of the 20th century. He was the founder of the Marvel Universe and co-created characters that have become household names now by billions across the world and in India as well. In fact, the man behind Chakra The Invincible, one of the first original Indian superheroes that we have, which Stan created along with Sharad Rajan in 2012, prior to his death, remember, in 2018. Now, on his 99th birthday, a limited edition NFT collection is being launched later this month. In fact, Stan Lee had famously once said that he wants to make Chakra as famous as Spider-Man. Is that going to happen? How exactly is this drop being looked at in the NFT market space? Joining us now is Sandrina Paula, VP for International Partnership, Guardian Link. And also with us back on CC is Ram Kumar, CEO and co-founder for Guardian Link. Hey guys, welcome to CC. Let me go to Sandrina first, since she's here for the first time. Take us through, what exactly is it that the fans are really looking forward to when it comes to Chakra? Here it's called Chakra Verse. So what exactly is in this dump for the fans?
Hi, Sonal. Thank you for having us here. Now, as you have explained it better, I would like to tell you about the character just in short. So what we have is, a mother of all drops, Stan Lee himself, the creator of Iron Man and Spider-Man and all the Marvel characters. Now, Chakra the Invincible, it was the first original Indian superhero. And this is why there's a buzz in it, because he created it with Sharad. And now, previously, if just to remind the new generation, it was launched as one of the most successful Indian graphic novels, and then there was also a series of animated films and shorts, that have been aired on Cartoon Network India and Amazon Prime Video. Now, as much as Stan was fascinated by the Indian culture because of its rich, diverse tradition, he wanted to bring a lot of culture into this character.
Yeah.
Now, why?
And
now,
it's not an easy challenge because India is the land where Hanuman is the original superhero and he's the favorite among kids. So it's going to be quite a challenge getting that up. But let me bring Ram in this conversation as well. Ram, from Bollywood superstars to comic heroes, share with us some of the big learnings you've had in these NFT drop collections. I believe this space is also ever evolving. Are you changing any things this time around?
Absolutely. So last time with Amitabh Bachchan's NFT, it was a very good experience, as I've explained before. So it turned out to be one of the biggest NFTs that we've ever released. And with this, we have retained a few of the strategies that we've used before with the loot. The ever-loving people who've always asked for us to bring up more loots. So we have retained that. And we've also introduced more video-based content this time because that was a demand. People wanted video-based NFTs. And we've also increased the number of the character sketches that we've done. Last time we had very limited series, and now we have gone up to 6,000 series of NFTs that we created. These are character sketches, and each are unique ERC 721s. So that's a bit different what you've done from before.
Right, so this is a different genre altogether, right? That we are also getting to learn when it comes to NFT. So let's see. Good luck, guys, with this one. Let's see how it goes. We'll connect again post that. That's all we could pack in today's edition of Coffee and Crypto. Well, ever-evolving world of crypto, ever-evolving world of crypto regulation as well. And we are keeping a very close tap on everything that happens in that space. Remember, no bill just yet, but there is one in the works and you know where to catch the latest. That's it from me. Bye for now. See you again next week.